We are going to create 5 different and cool looking text animations. We'll start off with this one where you'll learn how to use the gradient ramp, glow and hue effects, as well as the track matte for revealing the text with the aid of the text animator. Then we'll move on to this one where you'll learn how to animate a text along a path. In the third animation, we'll use the color text animation to mimic a typing effect, and in the fourth animation, we'll create a lower third animation using a combination of track matte, position keyframes, and also a text animator. Finally, we'll create this animation sequence using masking techniques, adjustment layers, 3D positioning, and the text animator. It will be super fun and you'll learn a lot, so let's jump into After Effects and get started. I'll start off by creating a new composition with a HD preset, setting the background color to black, the duration to 4 seconds, and I'll call it text01. Now, with the horizontal type tool selected, click on the screen and type in "just do it." Feel free to use any text you want to do. I will be using the custom font called Noelis. You can find the download link in the description. Select the text and align it to the center like this. Let's add a nice gradient to the text. Click on the effects and preset, then search for gradient ramp, then drag it to the text layer. By default, the start color is black and the end color is white. By the way, if you want to learn more about the gradient ramp effect, we did a complete video on it, so make sure you check that out. Let's change the start color to green by clicking on the rectangle in its front and enter the hex code. Also change the end color to blue by clicking on the rectangle in its front and enter the other hex code. Now, if you look closely, you will notice that the text is neither green nor blue, but a well-blended gradient from the top to the bottom. However, I want the gradient to go from the left to the right and make the gradient transition to be even more visible. So click on the crosshair in front of the start of ramp property. Notice that as you move the crosshair, the X and Y positions update in real time. Okay, move it to somewhere around 825 on the X-axis and 390 on the Y-axis. You can actually set this manually, so do the same thing for the end of ramp property, but this time set the X-axis to 1064 and 680 on the Y-axis. As you can see, clicking on the crosshairs shows the positions of the start and end ramps, indicating that the gradient transition from green to blue happens around the ending of the word just and beginning of the word do. Now let's add the glow effect. We'll create an adjustment layer to enable us add the glow effect dynamically. So right click in the layers panel and in the context menu, select new and then click adjustment layer. Hit the enter key with the adjustment layer selected and rename it to glow. Click on the effects and preset panel, then search for glow. Drag the glow effect to the adjustment layer. You will notice that the glow changes how the gradient looks and makes the colors brighter. However, if you look at the finished result, the glow is much more brighter and it extends to the surroundings too. So to improve the glow effect, increase the glow radius to 150 and reduce the glow intensity to 0.5. Minimize the glow effect and duplicate it by selecting it and hitting Command D on the keyboard. Increase the glow radius of the second one to 250 and reduce the glow intensity to 0.5. Then minimize it again and duplicate it one last time. For the last one, increase only the glow radius to 500. Awesome, the glow effect is looking good. But we don't want the text to always be glowing. We want it to start glowing from around the first 20 frames and end at around 3 seconds 10 frames. This is the reason we use adjustment layer rather than adding the effect directly to the text. It makes it easy to add and remove effects on the fly. So move the playhead to the first 20 frames and hit Option plus open square bracket to trim it, thereby creating the starting point. And then move the playhead to 3 seconds 10 frames and hit Option close bracket square to trim it again, thereby creating the ending point. Now, if we scrub from the beginning of the video to the end of the adjustment layer, you will notice how the glow effect is added to the text. Great. We want to make the text animate from a lower Y position to its current position. So expand the text layer. You'll see an animate label with a play button in front. Click on it. It has several options that enables us to create text animators for different transform properties such as position, scale, and rotation. You can create multiple and even nest them. But in this case, we are interested in animating just the position property. So select position from the option menu. It will add a new text animator for the position. Let's rename it to Position Animator. Select it and hit Enter key on the keyboard to rename it. If you look closely at the animator's position value, you will notice that its proportions are both set to 0, which indicates the starting positions of the animation. Let's update the Y position to 200. We are going to animate the text from Y position of 200 to 0 using the offset property. So expand the range selector to reveal the offset property. Make sure the playhead is at the beginning and click on the stopwatch in front of the offset property to create a keyframe. Then move the playhead to 20 frames and set the offset value to 100 to create the second keyframe. If you play it from the beginning, you will notice that it animates each of the characters instead of the words. To fix that, we'll expand the advanced animator section, which comes with every animator you create, and change the based on setting to words. This will make the words animate instead of the characters. Let's make the animation start slow, speed up towards the middle, and slow down in the end. So select both keyframes, hit F9 on the keyboard to add easy ease. Switch to the graph editor by clicking on this icon. Select both knobs and drag the right knob towards the center, and also drag the left knob towards the center too. Now the animation looks better, but we want the text to animate out of nothing. To achieve this, we will use the track mask technique. It's very simple and straightforward. Let me show you. Select the rectangle shape tool and draw a big rectangle that starts from the top and covers the text, but stops at just the bottom of each character in the text. Make sure no layer was selected before drawing this rectangle, as that will create a mask, which is not what we want. Now, the text is completely covered. Select the newly created shape layer and hit Enter to rename it to Matte. Select the text layer and set the track matte option to matte, which is the name of the rectangle shape layer we just created. By the way, if you don't see the track matte option, move your cursor to the lower left part of the screen and click on this icon to expand the controls panel in order to reveal it. Also ensure that the alpha matte option for the track matte is selected. As you can see, the text is visible again and will only be visible when it's within the bounds of the active track matte. And since the starting Y position for the text animation 200 pixels is out of these bounds, it will be hidden. Now when you play the animation from the beginning, you will have the text reveal animation and the glow effect applied after the reveal. Next, let's add the zoom in focus effect and the zoom out focus effect. We'll achieve this by using a null object to control the Z position of the text layer in the 3D plane. So right click in the layers panel, select new and select the null object. Rename it to control by hitting the enter key with the layer selected, then turn on the 3D option for both the control and the text layer. Set the control layer as parent of the text layer by clicking and dragging the pick whip icon to the control layer. Move the playhead to 20 frames and with the control layer selected, press P on the keyboard to reveal the position transform and click the stopwatch to create a keyframe. Then move the playhead to 25 frames and set the Z position to -500. This will create a new keyframe that will also affect the text layer since its parent is the control object. As usual, select both keyframes and add easy ease by hitting F9 on the keyboard. Switch to the graph editor and drag both keyframe knobs towards the middle to speed it up at the middle. Similarly, let's add the zoom out effect between 2 seconds 25 frames and 3 seconds. So copy the second keyframe at 0 seconds 25 frames and paste it at 2 seconds 25 frames. Also copy the first keyframe at 0 seconds 20 frames and paste it in at 3 seconds. Awesome. Our animation is almost complete now. If you play it from the beginning, the only thing missing is the gradient animation that makes the color change, and we'll accomplish that by using the hue effect. Let's use an adjustment layer to add this effect. Right click on the layers panel, select new and then select adjustment layer. Hit the enter key to rename it to hue. We want the hue effect to kick in immediately after the zoom effect and then stop after the zoom out effect at the end. So move the playhead to 0 seconds 25 frames and press Option plus open square bracket to trim it there. Then move the playhead to 3 seconds 10 frames and press Option plus close square bracket to trim it again. Click on Effect and Preset, search for Hue and drag it to the Hue adjustment layer. The Hue effect comes with a lot of options, but we are more interested in the master hue settings. You can click on the knob in front of it and drag it to see how it changes the look of the gradient. This is the property we need to animate. Click on the reset label to take it back to the default. Now move the playhead to 0 seconds 25 frames. Expand the hue adjustment layer. Also expand the effect layer and the hue effect. Click on the stopwatch in front of the channel range option and move the playhead to 3 seconds 10 frames and set the first proportion value of the master hue to 2. This simply means that the knob should rotate 360 degrees 2 times in the course of the animation. Our animation is now complete. So let's move to the second animation.